of Alchemist Abacus, okay? And today we're going to talk about, let me make sure this is on. We're going to talk about domestication and divine alchemy. I got to make sure my comments are off. And I chose this just based off of my own intuitive nature and my own experience, okay? The energy, everything was all good. I'm not gonna lie. Before this live, it was a lot of heaviness. And I'll be honest, I don't think it was coming from me at all. So, I had to transmute that. Which is what we're going to talk about. Okay? I am going to look at my notes. I wrote everything out. I just don't want to, I'm long winded. Okay? I want to stay on course. And I just want to make sure we hit the bullet points. Okay? Oh, let me start off by telling you that I am a multifaceted artist. Okay? There's a lot that I do. I would like to think that I project the energy of a wellness practitioner. That means I have a long history, okay, of experience and dedicated to acclimatization and just alchemy, period, okay? I do act, I do sing, I do engineer, I do direct, I do a lot of different things, okay? I am also a humanitarian. I do work in the community and do a lot of different work with families, kids, and divine feminine energy. Okay, so I gave you guys homework last week, right? Gave you guys homework and the equation, right? Or I would say the formula that I gave you guys was discernment equals internal frequency over internal noise. Okay, your homework was to sit with the calculation and audit your life, basically, of if you were sharp enough to discern whether you're supposed to move or stay still when friction is happening. Okay, that was a homework last week. All right, so I just want to tap in with you to make sure you did your homework. And if not, then hey, this is something you can jot down right now, or you can just listen to. Okay. So I did put a question mark. I put, look at your notes from seminar 1. Did you actually calculate the noise to frequency ratio? Okay, I just want to know if you did it. Okay. I didn't have any emails concerning the homework, but put it out there. Now I'm going to give you homework for this seminar, but it's going to be at the very end. So let's get into the Alchemist Abacus. Okay. And again, we are talking about domestication and divine alchemy. And fellas, even though this is like a feminine energy that we'll be talking about, you guys need to know this, because what if you have a mother? What if you know a feminine energy or a feminine woman who has lost someone or just went through devastation emotionally? You would know bringing a certain type of flowers into her home or doing certain things would help shift as well. Because I believe that masculine energy and feminine energy both carry the same energies, one just more than the other, obviously. Now, there's a lot of binary talk that goes into that, but that's just a whole different conversation. I'm not going to dive into that because that's not what it's about. It's just about divine feminine energy and divine masculine energy. Now, with us talking about domestication as divine alchemy, it's going to get deep, okay? So from the first seminar, we talked about the geometry, right? And if you missed it, go back to the video. I even showed you guys a picture. It's a triangle, it's a circle, and then a square. We broke down the different elements and what it represented, right? Well, that was important, and we started off with that navigation and discernment first because I wanted you guys to see the physical aspect of the geometry. Now, when we're talking about the domestication as divine alchemy, we're talking about the square. All right. Yes, everything else plays a part into it, but we're talking about the square, which is your physical home. It's your physical home. I'm on 20%. I should have made sure my phone was charged. So we're talking about the physical home when we look at the square. All right. Let me read from my notes. True alchemy isn't just about metals, it's about taking the raw, everyday materials of your life, your home, your boundaries, your family dynamics, and refining them into the fortress of peace. Everything in your home, your four walls, is up for grabs to be used as manipulation by outside forces or a massive manifestation by you. Now, as a woman, I have went through many different experiences, even growing up and in my own personal life with me and my kids. Okay. And I've had so much growth just in how I communicate, how I navigate, and what fits for me, and how I think, and how I've been practicing for maybe the last 7 years, um, real hard in the last 5 years, is looking at it spiritually, right? Now, I do a lot of things spiritually to protect myself and my kids, regardless of what the issue or what may come. As a woman, I was talking to someone yesterday actually about how a lot of women, we go through a phase as mothers where you lose yourself as a mom and all you know is you being a mom, right? You don't have any outside identity outside of that, which is a different topic for a different day. But this particular conversation we'll be having is strictly that, the power of divine feminine energy in our place and our position in our home, okay? And just things that I personally learned. All right, so I already mentioned this. It says in our first seminar, Alchemist, Abacus, and Navigation to Discernment, we mapped out our spiritual arithmetic. We used the primal sacred geometry of the triangle, the square, and the circle to master the calculus of our mind, body, and soul. And getting back to what we're talking about with the square being the physical plane of all elements, which is this is your you have the ability to control your home and your space, okay? Because this is where you lay, this is where you sleep, same thing. This is where you eat, this is where you do your most sacred thing. So this is your domain, okay? Now, when you get to a certain level, you do have the ability to have control over certain things outside of you, but that is a different topic, a different day. Now, we're going to look at our four corners of our home. This is how I do it. This is how I mapped it. I wrote everything out, okay? Because we're not even going to get into that. I was about to mention chat GPT, but I feel like you got to use it with certain things. Certain things just don't need it. But anyway, when it comes to your home and the four corners of your home, okay? Now, before I dive all the way into this, let's talk about what the word domestication means. Because Spirit has been telling me, like, even though you do this stuff day to day, it's so easy. You like first nature. A lot of people are learning things for the first time. And I have to remember that. So that makes me, like, as a teacher, I know as a student, I like things to be broken down to the simplest form, baby. Okay? I remember that from school. Okay? Your girl, I don't care what the grades was. We got it. Okay? We got the geometry. Anyway, when it comes to the four corners of your home, we were breaking down domestication first. Excuse me. I want to break down the words because I want to make sure that you guys have an understanding and overstanding of that. So domestication, I know half of the prefix of the word is Latin, and it means basically like dom, like your dominion, your sacred place, right? It's your authority. Almost 19%. It is your authority, right? And then if you think about the word divine and alchemy, divine energy is the primal source, especially when it rules or comes to emotion. Okay. Now, going back to my own experiences, I have to give you the experience that I had the other day. Now, this is something that I'm used to, but sometimes as a mom, you got to check yourself and put yourself back in that position. Really want to stay in it so you don't have to get back in. I set a boundary with me and my son. Pardon me. And he stepped over it. And I seen the reason why he stepped over it was because of outside things and him just trying to internalize certain things and process things. I seen it. So again, grace was given. So when he didn't respect the boundary, we kind of clashed. We had a disagreement, and I felt a little overwhelmed because I'm like, when I start repeating myself as a mother, if I feel like I've said it multiple times, I know that if I keep pushing as a woman, okay, that emotional force, it will cause more friction. So instead, I pulled back. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't me being petty, like, oh, I'm pulling my energy back. But it was the sense that I knew if I kept pushing, it was going to send me in overdrive. So I pulled my energy back. I gave him massive space. And anybody in my household or anybody who knows me personally, you know that I'm a very communicative person. If I communicate to you, okay? And if I feel some type of way, I shut all energy down. I'm a Virgo sun sign, so we internally pull back our energy. Some people may take it like we do it on purpose to be petty, but that's not the case. This is how we re-acclimatize, rebalance, and put ourselves in a position of stabilizing ourselves. And everybody can relate to that in some type of way. You don't have to be a Virgo to have to be a Leo. Everybody's just like, oh, are you that sign? That's not the objective. The objective is to master each sign in its positive form and negative form and use it within your own birth chart. Different conversation. Now, when it comes to the word or the words domestication, this is how we women or us women, we navigate in our homes. Now, going back to the example that I was using about my son, when that happened, I took a step back, okay? And my son noticed it. He was like, Mom, are you mad? I'm like, no, Amy. He said, I can tell you are, because you're not talking. You haven't said anything all day, nothing. I was like, are you feeling some type of way that I'm pulling back my energy? No, that wasn't even the first thing I said. When he asked me, he was like, Mom, what's wrong with you? The first thing I said was, um, I'm just honing in my own personal energy so that I can stabilize it. You know, it was something to that nature of what I said. And he got it. And so he stepped back. Then he checked on me maybe an hour or two later because I was still quiet. Like I went the whole day of not speaking. But it wasn't me having an attitude. It was me like in my mind the whole entire time about what I can do for myself and what I can do for my family. And this is what I came up with all of this, right? Um, but spirit led me, well, I was at my own spirit led me to the things I've always done, the things that are in my household already. First of all, the first thing is it says audit your physical and emotional highways. The four corners equal no dirt, no clutter. That's the first thing that I started off when I started practicing alchemy a couple years ago. First, check the four corners of your home. When I say check, make sure there's no dirt. You should empty your four corners. If your laundry room is in this corner and it's in the back, and this is especially crucial for people who live in apartments because we're all connected in a vortex in a way. And if you can't separate or like cloak your energy around you, then energy is always going to spill through the cracks from your neighbors. Okay. So I do a lot of shielding for me and my family in a lot of different ways. In one of our seminars, we're going to go through different ways to shield yourself. Okay. So stay tuned, put your notifications on. Now, going back to the four pillars, which is connecting you to your physical plane. In your home, you need to identify your four corners. Even if the architecture of your house is not four corners, you need to identify the square of your perimeter of yourself, of you and your family. Okay? Once you do that, you want to keep it swept. Even if you have something in a corner, that's cool. It's just no spider webs in your corners, no dirt in your corners. Again, that's way of energy coming in. A lot of people like me and other people put different things in the corners of our homes. You can use salt, black salt, I would suggest. Or you can just do, speak into the corners of your home. Okay? It's an element thing. So when you use herbs or use black salt, you're just using the element of earth into that corner. If you want to get your Bible or whatever it is that you believe and you want to speak into your corner, hey, I bless this corner or whatever you want to say, that's cool. You're using the element of air. All right, you can get some holy oil if you have holy water. Sprinkle it in your corner. That is using the element of water. You get where I'm going. Just make sure the four corners of your perimeter, of your plane, can be cleansed. And if you can't do it every day and you don't remember, just maybe put a reminder. Maybe I would say really 4 times a month for four corners. Okay, moving on. Refuse to emotionally sacrifice or overspill your own life force when you see people in your household clashing or stepping out of alignment. That's one thing as a mom we have to do is not spaz, okay? Because once we go off in the house, it's an atomic bomb. Everybody feels it. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm the type of mother, if I start feeling like everybody around here getting, like I start feeling like Denzel Washington in Training Day, this don't do me. You know what I'm saying? I don't even spaz. I tell everybody in the house, I'm not cooking. That shakes it up right there. Oh man, look what you did. You know what I'm saying? Now you feeling some type of way because you ain't about to have no soul food. So you got to find you something, okay? Make a sandwich and some chips. um, but it's not me, again, it's not coming from a petty place. It's like, hey, when I go in the kitchen, it's not me just, there's a lot to go into cooking, baby. You gotta pour your heart and soul. When I'm cooking, I'm putting energy into it. I'm like, I love you, prosperity, protection. I put that in the food, okay? It's all like that, regardless if a woman intentionally does it or not. When a woman loves to cook and feed her family, it's automatically gonna be in it. I just add a little spice to it, okay? Add a little more to it. Now, when it comes to the emotional highways and not overspilling, when my son did what he did, it it was thick energy. It wasn't nothing petty. Okay, it was getting real thick, especially with everybody else in the house. Again, I took a step back and I just didn't emotionally pour. Usually, the old me, old Brochet, would just keep pouring and doing everything by myself. No, I'm still going to hold you accountable. I'm still going to hold the same boundary. We're just going to come back with it. Now, here is where we get to the interesting part when it comes to domestication and divine alchemy. I have on here, never break your own boundaries to lower your frequency to force resolution. Instead, employ creative alchemical callus to restore balance. Callus to restore balance. So basically, what I did, I don't know if you can see back there. There are two potatoes. Let me see. Two potatoes. Two sweet potatoes. I'm gonna tell you how we got here. How this even resonates with domestication and divine alchemy. Now, about 2 months ago, someone gave me those sweet potatoes, and because the person gave them to me was so sweet, I didn't want to throw them away. I'm just that type of person. But I'm also the type of woman where everything comes to full circle. So it may not make sense in the beginning, but maybe if you ride along, you have faith, you ride it through, it does it deep. Okay. So someone gave me those sweet potatoes. I want to say it's like 2 months ago, and I noticed about maybe 3 to 4 weeks them into my house. And maybe somebody in my family should have told me this. Grandma, me mom. Sweet potatoes don't rotten fast. And if they do, baby, they love my energy because they survive. So about a month and a half, they weren't doing anything. They weren't spoiling it. And if anything, there were sprouts, or they're actually called slips, I learned. Slips were coming out of the sweet potatoes. And so I thought, me being the divine feminine woman that I am, I love to see things grow. And I believe that when I nurture the things around me, everything else fluctuates, right? Will balance itself out. But fluctuating with the energy, right? So I took the sweet potatoes and I was like, let me put them outside. Let me let them get a little bit of sunlight. I'm trying to read the energy. I stopped at that point and I said, wait. Now, this was before the argument with me and my son. I won't say argument, but a disagreement. And I had did this. So when this happened, I then thought, those sweet potatoes are in there, and it reminded me of my two kids, right? My two sons are my sweet potatoes. I said, let me turn this into a project. I'm that mom. We have projects in the house. We have games. I made my own games. I have this game where me and the kids, I wrote out a whole bunch of questions, and it's deep questions mixed with fun questions for kids. Like, if you had a pet dragon, what would you name it? Right? If you could tell your mom to stop doing something, what would it be? Like, it's there's different levels. There's like 3 levels. It's like soft emotion, middle emotion, with some fun things in between, with some high level questions, right? But it was a way of getting my kids to open up in a healthy way and be able for us to express it. We would have Sunday dinner and do that. Now we have some things that are going on, so kind of waiting for things to rebalance, but I still keep the same algorithm in my home regardless of what's going on. And I think that's the main thing as a woman, right? Our position in our home. So with this project, we basically made it a whole thing. We recorded it. We talked about the observation. We looked up on Chat GPT how we can make it survive. It told us to put it in a bowl, put some water, and do this. But it's funny because when I put it outside, like close to everybody around me, there's people who smoke cigarettes and stuff like that. But I noticed that it wasn't doing good even within a day. So we made an observation. We just made it a family thing and me not forcing myself to find a resolution with my son and us just naturally doing it in something that we could agree on or be fun in, it manifested. It amplifies the energy naturally, and I didn't have to say or do anything. Now, at the end of the day, I told Aiden, I said, hey, you know my rules, you know my boundaries, you know what type of woman I am. Let's stand on it. I didn't go too deep into it. I didn't overextend my energy or overexhaust myself emotionally. And I think that's an issue for women in a household. And I know because I've experienced that, burning yourself out to where you don't even have anything left for yourself, right? What else do we have? All the projects and family games to do the heavy lifting so that the family naturally comes back to a full circle, restoring mutual respect and connection without either side having to force an ego standoff. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. It's 21 minutes into it. Now, that is the first pillar of your home. The first pillar is mastering your and balancing the energy and purifying the energy is basically feng shui. Now, I'm a woman that takes this on a whole deeper level because we move the house constantly. I believe in moving furniture and vacuuming and cleaning. Like, it may even seem like I have OCD, but I think it works out for me. Okay. I have wind chimes at my door facing a certain direction. If you don't know, and maybe just a little gem to throw it to you, adding a wind chime to the east of your house will always bring abundance in. And it works out perfectly for me because my door is connected like that. So I can open the door with the intention when I rise every day and God gives me another day with breath in my body. I open the windows, everything comes up. We let the new air in, and then, I go on about cultivating the energy in my home. So, and I'm just throwing some little things out here at the very end for you guys because this is the first pillar. Now, we're not going to go through all 4 pillars, but I'm going to mention them because we mentioned the 4 corners. One of those pillars is this, okay? Domesticating and being able to domesticate the energy through your divine feminine energy. All right, so some other things that you can do, some herbs that you can actually use to actually promote positivity in your home. It would be things like meadowsweet, chickpea, and flowers. This is why giving a woman flowers adds, like, it's more than just superficial things. I need men to understand that and understand that. When you give a woman flowers, that's a certain level of declaration and you're pushing a certain energy to a woman. It's nothing but good because all flowers are great flowers. Um, and I felt the need to tell there's a guy or many of you men who are going to be listening to this. Some of you guys need to give flowers to your mother, okay? And I would either suggest, Spirit told me a mother plant is a Amaranth, and it's AMARANTH. It represents unfading love. Now I'm going to give you a few list of flowers that you can use. Daisies represents innocence. Roses, of course, love. Yarrow is solace. Sunflowers are above it all, meaning, when you say above it all, meaning, I would think perseverance, preservation, being able to move past something. So this is a great flower to give someone who is maybe mourning. A good mourning flower will also be rosemary. Hibiscus means delicate beauty. Ivy is the flower of friendship. Lemon blossoms are the flowers of fidelity and love. Myrtle is love. Lilac, white lilac, is purity and modesty. So this is a good flower if you want to spread the energy for all the fellas, okay, who have daughters. If you want them to stay pure and innocent, and you want to do it in small ways where you don't have to, like, who you texting? You on TikTok? You on Instagram doing this? If you feel like you have a daughter who may be swaying in the world, give her some white lilacs, okay? That promotes purity and modesty. Also, something else for purity, fidelity, virtues of the home, sage. So that's a good flower to bring into your home. Young love, innocence, daisies. Daisies will be really good to give to your daughters, mothers and fathers, okay? And even to your son. I mean, I don't know if sons want to receive flowers, but hey. But yeah, I would also look into the love language of flowers. That's a part of feng shui because flowers are very potent. They come from the ground and they have a sense of um, their own place in the world. Okay, that's just something that you can add to the feng shui of your home. Also, studying the north and south and west and east. I've mentioned this quite a few times on my channel, but you need to have a compass out. It's on everybody's phone. You need to know where you're laying your head. I would suggest laying your head. Your head should be north. Okay. Be careful of the mirrors. You shouldn't have a mirror in front of your bed. You shouldn't have a mirror right beside your door. Other feng shui tips that can help to the energy and emotional energy into your home as a woman. We said chimes. I gave you guys a couple of different herbs. Um, what else? If you have a fire pits are really great for acclimatization as well. It's really great place to have like family meetings and have very heavy conversations as well around fireplaces. There's a reason why people put fireplaces, and the reason why that was even created is because the energy of fire is supposed to help break something down into ash, which is a form of acclimatization, right? So that's why you see in certain movies or certain people and predominant in certain areas that have these big fireplaces in the middle of their living room. And this is typically where they sit down, have deep conversations, because the element of the fire helps to take all of that energy, toss it up the chimney, baby. Now, if you don't have a chimney into your house, I would say, hey, you can still use the element of fire by writing something down. If you're a mom and you're having certain things going on for your kids, then there's a whole bunch of different rituals that you can do. But I'm just giving you the simplest form of writing something down, burning it. I think I gave you guys all of that so we can get into pulling a few cards. I'm not going to be on here too long. My phone is dying. So let's get to it. I am going to pull from my indigenous deck. And this is one of my favorite decks. Actually, this is the only deck that I got from New York when I lived there. Shout out to the Bronx, Boogie Down. And this is the medicine healer, medicine woman. Okay, deck. Again, this is my indigenous deck. I'm probably going to lead with my luminous astro deck. And then maybe some other energy. I did start to shuffle the other cards, and I will tell you that there's a lot of, for anybody who connects to this energy, there's a lot of eyes, there's a lot of heavy energy, because when you become the main source of dominion for yourself, when you take ownership of that, it's, I'm not going to say a black hole, okay, but we all know like black holes soak up everything, but you know how people say, don't you observe, you don't observe. Yes, true, but you're human and it's only natural to indulge in that energy. I really need to come out. We got 8% down. So let me move this. But a lot of you guys may have a lot of energy that's thick and sticky. I'm seeing and feeling the energy of stickiness, okay? Something is trying to stick to you. This may be old habits. This may be old thought pattern forms. This may be something running through your mind all the time, over and over and over. All right, let's get through this. All right, I may even pull from my fairy, my fairy deck, since we tapping into divine feminine energy. I also want to say this. As a woman, I've lived in different environments, okay? Some very lows and some very highs. Some in the very middle. But I'll tell you this. If you're not in a place where you are surrounded by landscape and acres where you can breathe and everything's green and you can walk outside and it can just be silent for a whole hour without hearing anything, and all you hear is the wind blowing the trees and the flowers. But if you're around in the area where something is, noise is going off, it's constant distraction, nonstop, or even just a little bit, the solace within yourself in your home will make do. I promise you it will. I know what it's like being in a box. And when I say a box, I mean a box. Almost equivalent. I felt like I actually experienced like being locked up in like jail. I know what it feels like to be secluded in one area that's tough and it's rough and you can't move. And I made do of it. And it really came from adding color, adding light, open windows. constantly flooding yourself with so much positivity, but giving yourself space to indulge in whatever sadness or whatever may be negative, but holding it, not saying within, but holding a space for yourself, both places, right? All right, let's see what we have for this deck. All right, we have the Four of Stones coming out, which is the Four of Pentacles. And this is literally what I just said. The Four of Pentacles, when we're talking about the four corners, I'll let you see this. This is a woman who uses her resources wisely. She's got also a certain level of protection around her, right? She's also, there's flowers around that. So it's like she adding certain things to your home or just indulging in feng shui really allows you to accumulate and bring a certain level of stabilization to your home or to yourself, to yourself first, right? It looks like she's also making something. So this is hobby. This is having different hobbies as a woman because your hobbies play a part into your home. I'm over here learning how to garden, the Crafter's Garden. This is a really great book. Really, really great book. Okay. And there's a few things in here that I would like to actually indulge in to have like new traditions in my family, right? So thank you, Spirit. Heavy on the new traditions as a woman. If you do things in your family, that's cool. You don't have to stop doing those things, but do something different in your family. Like for me and my family, we create our own music, we create our own games. We literally just, my whole home is a place of like creation, you know? And I tell my kids, I was talking to my son about the seminar, and I was telling him, like, it's important to be able to move the energy. I said, look, you can play video games, but get up and stretch. Come in here, give me a hug, go get you some lemonade, go get you some fresh lemonade, go get you some fruit, come in my room, you know? Move around. The energy needs to shift and move. It's okay if people stay in one place in their home for a period of time, but the energy has to circulate. And if you have boys in the home who don't want to move out of their space, as a mom, come bring them some lemonade or cut the fan on, lift the window up, burn some incense. There's certain things that you can do as a woman to keep that energy circulating, and that's what we do, and that's what she's doing here. It looks like she's learning how to make necklaces to put on everybody. Like, hey, babe, wear this. It's gonna keep you from bringing any negative energy home. Or put this in your pocket when you go to work. It's going to protect you from certain energies. This is a woman who extends the solace in her home, and it follows you wherever you go. I like that. All right, what else do we have? Ten of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune. This is literally everything that I just said. The Wheel of Fortune talks about a new beginning, turning a new leaf, doing something different, brand new. It's like a brand new door open. It's like you're saying, hey, I need a new job, I need this, and the door opens. Okay, that Wheel of Fortune is here. Right now, the Ten of Wands is a heavy load. This could either be you being a single parent, a single father, a single mother, you doing something on your own, but also learning how to cultivate both of these energies by yourself, and that's divine masculine energy and divine feminine energy. You have to have both, regardless if you're a female or a male. Okay, but this energy right here is a person who is learning how to do everything on her own, and maybe it is a heavy load. So making sure that you even have a community of people who may be doing the same things as you. Okay, let's see. Let's clarify this Ten of Wands. What is this Ten of Wands? The Princess of Arrows. Okay, so this is about you going through experience to learn. So someone needs to know that they should not be hard on themselves. And someone's like, "Oh, I didn't cook the other day, and the kids had to eat a sandwich." It's okay. Okay. I mean, of course, as long as everything is healthy, or work with what you got. Even if all you have is a bag of rice, beans, and some potatoes, because I don't know everybody's circumstance. And I would like to think that these videos are for everybody, no matter what level you're on, right? We all use this energy universally. But the Apprentice of Arrows is someone who wasn't guided, and someone didn't say, hey, baby, you're supposed to do it like this. Maybe your mother and father did the best that they could, and they didn't provide enough of information for you, and things were harder for you. This is about making the next generation easy by teaching, all right? Archery is a really great study to get into because it helps you to be able to focus. I actually did archery for a little bit when I went to the summer camp, and it helped me to stay focused around distraction, okay? So maybe someone should partake in this with their kids, with their sons, with their daughters, okay? Or just ones, it can be going out shooting. It can be going out riding horses. I know that's my favorite thing to do. I love riding horses. It's such a spiritual attunement for me and allows me to really balance myself. I'm going to pull from this deck, and this is going to be it, okay? We have conjunction with Jupiter. So there's a lot of ancestral help as well. Make sure that you're calling in your guys and giving them permission to help you, because with that heavy load, you're not supposed to be by yourself. And if you feel like you don't have a supportive system, again, you have someone that was here that showed you some type of love, even if it was a teacher. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a blood person. Okay. We have the conjunction of empowerment that came out, and it says combines with, enhances, strengthens, joins forces, activates, intensifies, authoritize, allies with, concentrates, saturates, overrides, and overwhelms. So be careful not to tip those scales to being overwhelmed with putting too much on your plate at this time. This is a great time to delegate, and make sure if you have so much on your plate, just write down what's the most important, okay, day by day. And it's good to have calendars, okay? So these things do play a part into helping us like keep things moving when you can see a deadline or you have a deadline, okay? Because some of you guys, it's okay to like, I personally don't allow dishes to sit in my sink. At the end of the night, I don't want no dishes. Now, there's been times where it's a dish or two, but you gotta make sure you spray everything down. It can't be no food in the sink. So there's a heavy energy of not procrastinating on like how you keep your house or how you maintain certain things, because this is actually going to help you to push through the hard times, especially if this thick energy that you guys may feel. Okay. Again, remember the four corners of your home is a domain for energy to come in. All right. Because I see some deception and envy here. There may be people who want you to sacrifice yourself in whatever type of way so that they can have a new beginning. And sacrificing yourself doesn't have to just be physically or mentally, emotionally, it can be in anything. You may have someone who wants you to not show up in a certain way so that they can feel good about themselves. All right. There may be people around you that have gotten so accustomed to, from what I'm seeing, because right here it says abandon unsympathetic environments for your true element. This means go where you're appreciated. Some of you guys are around people because you're just used to it. Some of you guys have been around. It's an end to that, and I feel like you guys know it, and this is your confirmation to keep it moving. Okay. So this was a really great seminar. It really started off a little rocky. I had really transmuted some heavy energy before this, but you know what? When you set your intention straight, that's one thing the enemy has to bet on. Okay. It has to bet on you sacrificing yourself for it to come in. If you keep yourself in alignment with your assignments, all right, and you don't feed into it, that's why I didn't pull from this deck. Okay, don't even feed into it. If you starve the beast instead of feeding the beast, that means not watching shows where a whole bunch of girls are fighting. Not, even if you feel like somebody's saying something about you, not even confronting it, because what is it going to do for you, right? If you really just block out everything, and I don't know how hard that is for other people, but for me, it's easy because I've been doing this since I was a kid. Okay, I had to attune myself because certain things were a certain level of escapism, but it's just best to block out these type of things. So you guys be careful of trying to explain yourself or over explain yourself to people who are already deceiving themselves. Okay, a lot of people are deceiving you or doing something behind your back because that's all they know. Okay, if you feed into it, it'll suck you in, especially at this time. Okay, we're in an energetic timeline where if you don't have spiritual hygiene, baby, you're gonna drown. You're gonna drown or drowning. Okay, so tap in so you don't drown. Even if what I'm saying to you may feel a little foreign, okay, stay in. Stay in 3 to 6 to 9 months, and I promise you, it'll start making more sense. All right, I did the same thing. I had this one guy I used to listen to, very knowledgeable. I couldn't get it, but I stayed around, and then I got it. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Remember, we do the erotic readings on Tuesdays, but it's not every Tuesday. And if you miss it, then you have to wait until Thursday or Friday to see it. I love you guys. I'll see y'all next Wednesday.